Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, I hear especially newer collectors say this quite often, and it kind of bugs me a little bit, especially when I see some of the stuff that they had before they started collecting currency. Okay. I hear newer note collectors, paper money collectors, saying if they would have started this when they were younger, they'd be more likely to buy some of the more expensive notes. But now they feel that they're so late in the game that they don't want to put that kind of money out into, on their collection. I've heard this from numerous people. And then you watch their videos and they start pulling out 1 ounce gold coins, and then they pull out the next 1 ounce gold coin that they just bought. I don't understand. If you are fascinated by how cool some of the older paper money is, and it can be had for $500-600, or even a nicer one can be had for $1,000 or $1,500. I mean, I'm not rich, but I have notes that are worth $3,000. And like I said, not rich. I do not own an ounce of gold. But if you are a person who just bought another ounce of gold, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to buy any of the nicer notes that are out there. A Chief note, or a 1862 $1 note, or a Battleship note, the educational series. Yeah, those are all big gets. I agree. But they cost about an ounce of gold. Overpriced ounce of gold at that. Let's not forget that. With the way that the world is going, silver and gold are ridiculously overpriced, and then you pay premiums on top of that. So eventually things are going to go back to normal, and silver and gold will be down to where they're supposed to be, and you'll have had the inflated price of gold and the inflated price of the premiums, and you're never going to get that money back. Where, in the meantime, they aren't making any more educational notes. They are making more collectors. They aren't making any more battleships, the notes. But there are more collectors. They aren't making any more 1862 $1 bills. They aren't making any more of the rainbow set. They are minting new 1 ounce gold coins. So when you want to fork out your cash for overpriced gold with ridiculous premiums, and then follow it up with you're afraid to spend that kind of money on actual rare stuff, I don't know. Sounds like a cop-out to me. All right, what do I have this week? Let's take a look at what I found. George Washington. Somebody stamped, I grew hemp. All right, valid. He did. He couldn't do it today, but, that's neither here nor there. Anything special about the serial number? Nope, nothing special there. Let's see. George Washington, and if we look real close, you can kind of see through it. Why? Because we have another stripper note. That's right, I was in Vegas. I should recap these. This is more Vegas money, and I want to knock out where these came from before I continue. These came from the Gold Coast, Palace Station, the Rio, the M Resorts, Silverton, Palms, and South Point. And those two Where's George notes that I'm about to show right there, these came from the M Resorts. So I've got a Where's George there and a Where's George there. And it looks just like the stamp that I got at Mandalay Bay. So I wonder if the same person didn't hit up both of those casinos and drop off some Where's George notes. Here's a trinary, 0s, 3s, and 5s, 1s, 3s, and 7s, 1s, 4s, and 7s, 1s, 3s, and 4s, 0s, 1s, and 5s, and then we get quads. Now, trinaries and quads, I tell you all the time, there is no additional value. I simply collect trinaries and quads because I'm trying to match serial numbers. It's not too difficult to take a fancy serial number, whatever it happens to be, and try to buy another fancy serial number on eBay that's the same. But when you're talking just trinaries and quads, those are very, very common notes, and there's a lot more of them. That's why there's no individual value on them. But to try to match two of them, just from circulation finds, it seems to be an insane thing to do. I mean, it's impossible. There's 100 million different number combinations. So to match two serial numbers, it's impossible. Yet I've done it 6 times. So, yeah, trying to match serial number 1, well, that's pretty easy. Trying to match serial number 720000000, yeah, that's pretty easy to do, because if somebody has that, they're going to sell it. But if you want to find 94333395, that's a little tougher. Anyway, that's why I collect trinaries and quads, not because I believe that they're worth anything, but because I'm trying to pair numbers. This one's quad 9s, and then we've got some stars. 2021 star, not filled in. Don't forget to check for that. 2017 A star, 2017 A star, 2017, another 2017, and another 2013, 2013, 2013B, one of the duplicate series, right? No. The duplicate series starts off with 032 and it goes to 096. So if you have any notes that start 032 and they're less than 096, that's the duplicate range. This was not one of the duplicate notes. And based on that, that makes this more rare. These are harder to find because there's only 3 million of these. And there's, well, from 032 to 096, that would be 6 million duplicates, but they're duplicated. So there's 12, almost 13 million duplicate notes and only 3 million of the non-duplicated notes. So there's that. 2003A, this is the older stuff. Another 2003A, it's got writing, so it's going to go away. 2003A, probably the only keeper of that group because this one's still in good shape. 2001, rough shape. 2001, also pretty rough. 1999. 1993, actually a tougher year to find because they went from 1993 to 1995 right away. So they didn't get a chance to print a bunch of these. And with how old they are, you don't see them too often. This one's actually pretty crisp, so that's a good find. And the oldest note I found, this one happens to be from 1977, and it's still pretty crisp. It's got good paper feel to it, and this came from Silverton. So that's what I found this week. What did I pull? Well, I pulled a note that is from a series even new collectors should have a few notes from. This is series 1928. Okay, now I zoomed in on that, but I knew this was a 1928 without zooming in because it has the giant numeral instead of the letter. You can see these, all of the letter. But in 1928, they used the numeral. 1928 was the first year for the small size notes. Prior to 1928, we had the large size notes, and they decided, because of the Great Depression and cutting costs and everything, that if they made the notes a third smaller, they would use a third less paper and a third less ink, saving them a third of the cost of printing money. Imagine that, the government's saving money. Here's the proof. Anyway, for this size note, what they did was, prior to this, the large size Federal Reserve notes would have the number and the letter. So it would say 3C in this particular section. I've shown some other notes like that before already. And with the smaller size note, rather than duplicating the 3 and the C, they simply put the district, which is 3, in the circle there. The C is still represented as the first digit of the serial number. And as all notes, even today, you have the district number in the corners here. So you've got all the 3s to match the 3 here. 3 is the third letter, or C is the third letter. That's how it corresponds with the 3. So it's just another way of checks and balances. All that checks exactly with what we use today. F is the 6th letter. F starts the serial number. You've got the 6 here, 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 and here. So in 1928, they used the digit, and then in the notes and years that followed, they replaced this, and this would now have a C instead of a 3. So only the 1928 has that numeral there. And that's what makes these so cool. They are the first small size notes, and they're the only ones that have that numeral like that. So they're easily identifiable, and they have a little bit of worth, especially if you get them in fairly good condition. This one's kind of nice. This one does have center crease, does have a crease this way, but overall, this particular note is pretty good. It's got the very dark green. A lot of you are going to hear about the light green seals, and that would be the 34, I want to say. Is that right? I'll double check the book in a second. But anyway, here's the back. Notice it's constitutional. It does not say "In God We Trust," as per the First Amendment. So that's this one. Let's take a look at what the book has to say. $10 notes, and fold this way. $10 notes. All issues with the bust of Alexander Hamilton. You can see has the numeral instead of the letter, and mine is number 3, which of course is Philadelphia. They made 8 million of these 10s, and even in a VF20, they're still $50. By the time you get to choice 63, they're $300. This one might be better than a 20, might be a 25 or a 30, so it might be a little bit more than that. Interesting, because if you get the star, it starts at $350 in a 20 and goes to $2,500 there. That's a big number. That's a big number for a $10 bill, especially a semi-modern $10 bill. Anyway, that's what I've got for you guys this week. A very affordable 1928 $10 bill. Very interesting piece of history that you don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on. You can probably get it for about what you're paying for an ounce of silver once you include premiums and shipping. So yeah, and this will probably still be worth $50 to $75 no matter who becomes president. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys this week. If you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading your comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.